February 27th. What you're looking at is a Sarod that I bought. And it was supposed to come with gear tuners, and it came with the wood pegs that are out of it right now. Anyway, guy is supposed to be sending me, because this thing came from India, to send it back and have him send me another one would be ridiculous with tariffs. Anyway, yeah, honestly, I was not super duper happy. He had a sitar bridge on it. Sarods do not have a sitar bridge. And I went to buy one, and it was out of stock. And any other ones I found were like ridiculous amounts of money. So I have bone, and I've made one, and I needed to get the action down some too. The nut he had in here, I sanded down some too, so I'm going to have to glue that back in. But anyway, it had this crappy brown paint job, which is not untypical for stuff from over there, but anyway, so I figured while I had to wait on parts to come, I thought, well, what the hell, I'll just sand this baby down. And I did a little test area there. That's going to look so much nicer. And I'll probably put a couple coats on. But anyway, yeah, I'm going to stain it, and it will look much nicer. Let me see if I can turn this around so you can see the back. Of course, I've been sanding, so yeah, there's some real difficult spots for sanding. I'm getting it as good as I can. But yeah, you can see that's kind of a brown paint job. Not the greatest on the planet. This thing actually does have a plug-in, a piezo pickup in it. I haven't tested it, so I don't know how well it works, but nonetheless, it has it. So anyway, I think when I get this hopefully put back together, glue that back down, I think it's going to look a lot nicer, hopefully, and I'll make it playable. And then I have to learn how to play it, because this is one of the more difficult instruments on the planet as far as stringed instruments to learn. So I'm trying not to make sure I don't damage this, because that's what makes the Sarod a Sarod. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Oh, and yeah, I don't know how well this is going to work, and I don't know how well you can see it. I kind of did a little bit of test. I may make that just black in there. I started to try and sand it, and yeah, it kind of chipped away there. So I'm like, the last thing I want to do is, breaking instruments. It's then something. Anyway, yeah, so I may just, I don't know how well that's going to look with the stain, but I'm going to try it. And I'll have to repaint it, but I was just kind of looking to see what it looked like. I think it'll be okay if it's just black in these two spots. But we'll see. If it looks dumb, I guess I can try to sand it. But yeah, it's kind of really hard. And sanding by hand, I've already tried that in spots like this. Getting this paint off sanding by hand is a nightmare. So anyway, that is what's going on with this. We'll see what it looks like when I get it done. Okay, still the 27th. It is got the initial sanding. It's interesting. We got some white spots. Now I kind of left that because I thought it looked cool, just for some variation. So there will be some definitive variation in this. Hopefully it'll look really good. I hope. You can see it's almost 10 o'clock. There's the front of it. So, and that was where I did a test, but that's already lightened up. I'll probably have to do a couple coats, but I still got to do, this is the initial sanding. I'm going to take some higher grit sandpaper and get it, nice and smooth. So I'll do that tomorrow. I've cleaned it off, and that's it for today. So I'll do the next sanding and then stain it. This looked really cool when I sanded it down, but then when I stained it, it just went dark brown. So I don't know. I may sand that off and redo it. Haven't decided. I mean, it is the backside, so I'm not totally concerned. It's kind of cool. I don't know. Haven't made up my mind. But anyway, and that's where the white spot. So nothing I can really do. But I mean, I kind of like the differences. I put it back on the thing for the Toomby. Supposedly this stuff is out for delivery. Going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to have like holes left over. We'll see, I guess. But there it is. I think it looks really good. It looks way better than it did before. At least that, I think so anyway. So there it is. Got the nut back on. I've tightened up all the screws. Replaced the ones here. Those were all stripped out. So now just got to get the tuners. Get the tuners on, and I made a bridge. Hopefully it's going to work. We'll see. That's where I'm at. Alright, it's March 7th. Haven't really done much of any updates on this Sarod. That's filthy because I've been sanding. I'm going to have to re-stain it anyway. But anyway, I'm getting this ready to accept the neck that I built. That's the bottom of it. It's going to go in. I got a steel rod that's going to go in here. And next step is to put the tuners in. Done a bunch of sanding. So this is going to go in here. And we'll have a new, brand new headstock. And this is going to go up there. Can't really film it, but you'll see it when it's done. That is for the sympathetic strings. I started to put these in and then realized they're all good except for that one. So I had to drill a new hole, and right now I got it filled up with Bondo, which is what I'm trying to do to all the holes, because that's where all the wood pegs were. That's been sitting for a while. Now I got this going. It's blobbing out there. And this is Bondo brand. Supposed to be really good. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, that's where we're at with the Sarod. Alright, March 12th. Little update. I've restained and lacquered the body. And I have the neck I built attached to what I broke it off of. It is not perfect. As you can tell, you can tell where it's been sealed. Tried to cover up this screw. That didn't work too good, but I got a screw on both ends. It's glued. There's a screw going through the middle of it. And there's a plate on the back of it. I didn't want to put a plate. I probably could have got away with not. But here's the thing. I mean, you're putting a lot of tension. Got 6 strings coming down here. The last thing I want is that thing to snap off. It's bad enough I messed it up in the first place. Anyway, and here's for the sympathetic strings. It will go up here. Hard to hold the camera, but anyway, it'll get attached up here. I'm trying to figure out, because the way the sympathetic strings were before, the string went down through here and up through a hole. That's probably the biggest. Hold on. All right. So yeah, and shoot, some of it already is. It's hard to plug up these holes. Which reminds me, I actually have some stickers. I'm going to put one on it, see what it looks like. I'll figure something out to cover that up. But anyway, stand back here. This is going to sit up here. So as you can see, it's longer because the holes for the wood pegs were 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. There was 13. I looked at what I was supposed to get, and it had 11, which is really 9 sympathetic strings and 2 Chikari drone strings. And the 2 drones were down here. So I'm going to have less sympathetic strings. I would have if he sent me the right thing. I don't like the... They basically kept these in, so they took one that was already wood. I don't know what they did to plug these up. But had he sent me the right thing, they just kind of went in between and put pegs in there. I really don't want to drill that. If I mess this up, I'm in bad shape. So I got, and I don't know if this is going to work. I ordered, because these things are gold, I ordered some, now it's not sitting right. Anyway, I ordered some gold tacks. They're supposed to be here tomorrow. And I'm toying with the idea, and they're flat heads, so the string can wrap around it and go up to the pegs. Because if you just run it up to the pegs from the bridge, the strings are not going to be... I looked at the way his original one was. They went under 4 of the 6 strings. And I looked at some other ones. That seems to be how they go. But if I just run the strings directly to the tuning pegs, then maybe 2, it might be under a couple strings. And the idea of the sympathetic string is that, it rings out when you play the other string. So I'm going to try and start with putting some of the, taking some glue and put this tack in there and see how that looks and go from there. I mean, I could drill holes. I got some wood dowels. I could stain those. Those would look pretty nice. The problem is I'm wondering if they're going to stay. Of course, I'm wondering the same thing about the tack. Anyway, I'm running this video way up, but that's where we're at. Friday the 13th. Well, we're getting there. I need to make a new saddle bridge for down there. But I've put on this for the sympathetic strings. I got these bag of tacks, basically. And the reason I went with gold is, if you look behind there, those are gold or brass, whatever. So I kind of wanted to match them, but I guess I probably should have went silver. But I don't know, it's kind of cool for a contrast, I guess. It works. I was going to glue them in, but they kind of sort of didn't fit, and then I tried to hammer one in, and they hammered in. Of course, if you notice, here's the deal. They go from here to there, here to there. Basically, it's so the string wraps around and stays. The idea of sympathetic strings is for them to be under the other strings. So you can see the first bridge, but I need to redo that. It's not right. But anyway, the sympathetic strings run underneath. On a sitar, you have a different bridge, but they run underneath. So anyway, you want to wrap them around here to keep them, low, and then they kind of angle a little bit with this. Only thing is, see, they went back here to wood pegs, so there was a double row. Here you got to go with a long row, and I run out here. The last two are the Chikari drone strings, which run across here. So, and they're on the top of the bridge. But anyway, so I'm not sure if I can run it around here and up for the last 1, 2, 3 sympathetic strings, or if I'm just going to be short. But anyway, that's where we're at the moment. So I got to make a bridge, and we're getting ever closer to stringing it up. If it works, I will be breathing a big sigh of relief, especially on the sympathetic strings. So, I mean, this is far different, obviously looking than the wood pegs. But if it's functional, which when I bought it, as I said, it wasn't. So, I've done a lot of work, and I'm putting a different bridge. I've done a lot on this, more than I should have for what I paid. But if I end up with a playable instrument as opposed to an unplayable instrument, then it will all have been worth it. So we're going to see, hopefully by tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it is March 15th. I have the strings on. My God, we got to this day. Now I got to get them tuned without breaking them. I was not able to get one of the sympathetics. That was a bit difficult. I probably should have used smaller. These are just tacks. I think I've already said that. And I drilled a hole to get one of them in, and that was a pain in the butt. So I said, I'm not going to do it. And the top two or last two are the Chikari or drone strings. So anyway, I'm going to get her tuned up, and that's the real moment of truth. But strings are on. There she is. Not bad, really. I mean, it looks different. I mean, a traditional one has wood pegs, so this is very non-traditional. But it should be easier to tune. And the playing is the real tale. We'll see. News at 11. Well, here we go again. Another update. There she is with all her strings on. I turn her. If you notice, I took all the tacks, the gold tacks out of there because I was getting buzzing. Now though, because this is where the strings would come in if you had wood tuners, they'd come in here and go up to go through to a hole back here and around the wood peg. So since there's no tension on them, you can hear that probably, I'm getting buzzing. If I pull them out, which I actually have tried just for shits and giggles, and I don't know how they're in there. Might have to ask one of my craft buddies. But anyway, I get some vibration since I can't really play and hold the phone. But I'll be doing some playing because I got it. I broke the first string, so now I don't really have it tuned the standard tuning. but I'm going to try this. It's basically C and G. They're all C up here, 2C, 3G, CGC. So anyway, I'm going to try it, see how it works. It's kind of like BE, BE, BE tuning on a guitar. So, but usually the bottom is like F and then C and then G, C, G, something along those lines. Anyway, but there it is. There's the update. It is built. So check it out. I took the metal piece off. It's just screwed in, no glue, thank God. And basically, I had to drill out the bottom so far and then punched it out. So they're out. No damage, thank God. Nice and clean. So, like I said, the bottom of this, and I should have done it before I stained it, but now I stained it, so I got to wait till it dries to make sure it fits and I don't have to do any more sanding. But if I do, I'll just restain it. Check it out, man. And I managed to get it off and leave the strings on. Although these will have to transfer over to the other one. I don't know how that's going to work out. It's even numbered 22. So is the bottom of this, 22. But yeah, you can see that's hand carved out. Pretty cool. Anyway, I'm happy with this. We'll see how that goes. Get it stringed up this weekend. March 22nd. As you can see, I've got this out. I took out the old pegs, put in new ones. Not sure what I'm going to do about the open holes from the other one, because it needs to match the new rail. So anyway, while I had this gutted, I remembered hearing something rattling inside, so I stuck my hand under there to look, and it was this piezo pickup, basically laying on the bottom. I've never even seen one like this. Whoops, if I can get it in focus. You probably can't see it, but one of the wires, there it is, the wires broke off. So the piezo pickup was laying on the bottom of the Sarod, and this was broke off, so it was never going to work. And I was getting ready to put this back on there. So luckily I happen to have a piezo pickup. I'll tell you what, yeah, I'm glad I checked that on a whim. When I get ripped off, I get ripped off big. But after some money and many hours of work, hopefully I will at least have a playable instrument. So this ain't like Amazon. When they come from India, good old Donald Trump's tariffs, I don't want to get political, but you pay for it, not China. China ain't paying for it, you're paying for it. So to send this back, I would have had to pay more tariffs and other BS. So anyway, it ain't about politics, it's about money. And they ain't paying it, you are. So anyway, I put a new piezo pickup in, and I'm going to piece this together and hopefully have a working instrument by the end of the day. March 22nd. We have strings. We have the bridge I made. I used dowel rods for the strings. Put tape on the inside of the holes. Put some filler in there. It's not horrid. It could be worse. Made the rail. I made about 4 different rails. The only hiccup I had was this dowel rod needed to be farther up. Whoops. So I drilled a hole and put one up there. But other than that, it'll probably go out of tune in a second, but there it is. Now I get to play and learn how to play. Didn't think I'd see the day. Yay. I think it's rather pretty, actually, compared to what it was. Anywho, there's the update. Now, the play date. Alright guys, just thought I'd let you hear how this sounds. It's probably going to sound like shit because I'm learning how to play. So, and you'll notice there's no frets. So you have to hit just right. Sound familiar? So I won't subject you to a bunch of me practicing because that's really what I'm doing. It'll be a while before I really have anything, but make some noise. So obviously if you're going to do them slides, you have to stop where you need to stop. It's not random. So anyway, but that's how it sounds. So I wanted to add that to my how I made the Sarod video. Is it Sarod or Sarod? Your guess is as good as mine because I've heard both. Peace.